Jesse with the Turning Post, and today we're going to be making a rattle. I had a friend of mine that I work with. They just had a little grandbaby on the 14th of April, so I thought I'd go ahead and try to make them a rattle for her. And of course this rattle is just a little bit too big, so we're going to try to downsize it a little bit, and we're going to probably make this top ball up here about 2¼ inches in diameter, and we'll probably make the handle probably about 4½ inches. So stay with me and we'll make us a rattle. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get a piece of wood. In this case I'm using some maple, and it's approximately a 3x3 and about 3 inches long, and I'm going to turn it around, and then I'm going to put a tenon on it. Now I use an easy wood chuck, and so I know what my jaws are. I got these 50mm jaws, and they are, I usually have my tenon probably a 1/4 inch in length and about 1 3/4 inches in diameter, and it fits just right. And so the first thing I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to turn it around, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to face this thing off here in the front. Once I get it faced off, then I'm going to go ahead and measure out 2 1/4. I'm going to take out some of this wood behind it so I have easy access to it. And then I'm going to take this down to about 2 1/4. So let's get to turning. With a small piece like this, I could probably go somewhere in between 2,000 and 2,500 RPM with no problem. And I'm running it at about 24. Now I'll take a parting tool and take out some of this waste back here. And now that I have it down to 2 1/4 inches in diameter, I'm gonna go ahead and mark my center, which will be about, what, 1 1/8. And then I kind of mark it. I just do it by eye. I kind of measure it about halfway on each side. Everybody has a different way of getting it round. When I'm in a hurry and I do my Christmas ornaments pretty much the same way. And when I get to a point where I need to get a lot of them done, I do have a jig that I use. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start rounding this over and get it as round as I can. And I do have a little jig that I use to measure whether it's 2 1/4 inches. Before I start rounding it over, I think I'm going to go ahead and drill my hole. There's a couple of sizes you could do. I've done 5. There's a couple of tools I use. Today, I'm going to be using these hollowing tools by Sorby. And when I use these tools, I can go ahead and I can make my hole about a 1/2 inch in diameter. I do also have easy wood tools, which are these, which I also like. But the only thing is, when I use these, I can use a 1/2 inch hole. It's just very, very tight. And when you have aggressive cutter heads like this, they can turn on you and they can cause a lot of problems. So usually when I use these tools, I'll use a 5/8 inch hole. Today I'm going to use a 1/2 inch. I don't want my drill to go completely through. I'll probably take it to about this point right here. Mark it, and I'll put some tape here so I don't go all the way through. I'll turn my lathe speed down to about 500 RPMs. If you go any faster than that, all you're going to do is burnish. It ruins it'll dull your drill bit, and you're not going to accomplish anything. So I just turned down to about 500 RPM or less. Clear it. That's good enough. And now I can start rounding this over. And doing that, I'll use a 3/8 inch spindle gouge. As I round over, I lift my hand and I follow it around, bringing it from about a 1 o'clock or 1:30 all the way over almost to a 3 o'clock, and bringing my hand up, creating that curvature. Now I'll go to the other side. Well, I'm back again. I was talking about clearing out the insides. You can do it a couple of ways. I use an air compressor if I have one. I can blow it out. And if I don't have one, then I'll have to clear it out with something like, oh, I don't know, get a, something's got a hook on it and kind of pull it out, clear it out. And then what you're looking for is your wall thickness. And my wall thickness, I try to keep my wall thickness at probably about 1/4 of an inch to 3/16 of an inch. And the reason I don't want to get any thinner than that, I don't want to have the small infant be able to break this and get the insides in his mouth or her mouth where she chokes on it. So I try to keep mine at about 3/16 at the least, or at the most. And so what I use, I said, I use these tools first, but I'm going to try this easy wood. I'm going to see if I can get in here and try to clear it out a little bit more. My wall thickness is probably about 3/8 of an inch to not quite 1/4 of an inch. Because I'm not taking big bites, I can go around the wall and I can feel where I have high points. And I'll take those, when I have those high points, I'm taking small bites, I just try to get those high points down, and you can feel that as you go in. That's for a 2 1/4. I can check it to see where I'm high and low, what I have to take off. And I can see right here, I need to take off over in here a little bit on this left-hand side toward the headstock. These little templates are very easy to make. You make them out of 1/4 inch plywood. Get a Forstner bit, about a 2 1/4 inch Forstner bit. Make your hole. Make sure you find your center so it's easy for you to cut it in half. Get a little bit on this top here. And a little bit here. I feel pretty comfortable with that. Now, just to bring it on completely down, I use some new sandpaper. This is where I need my mask. I'll drop my speed down to about less than 1700 RPM. If you don't, it'll just clog up your sandpaper. And sandpaper is a little expensive. I'll start out with 80 grit. Let's take a look at it. A little bit more. Use 100. Right. Going to 150. I'm sorry, 120. I'll probably take it down to about 220. $150. $180. Now 220. So now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to start hollowing. And I'll start hollowing with my straight scraper. And in a way, I like to go from reverse. You can go regular, where you turn it towards you, but by going reverse, if you have that reverse on your lathe, you're able to see a lot better. So, first thing I'm going to do is get my depth. Got my height. Now let's get our depth. Okay, and my depth is right here. So I know I don't want to go any deeper than that mark. So we'll put it in reverse. Put my shield down. And you take little small bites. You're not in a hurry. You go strictly by feel. Now, if you're on a budget and you can't afford to buy one of these, then you can make your own. And this is what I use when I give my classes. So the way you use something like this, I'll make sure I have this for my inside, and I have it try to get it parallel to the outside, or inside and outside. I measure in between, and I try to keep it about 1 inch. 1 inch. So that way, when I measure in here, I can measure from this point to my to the outside of my rattle ball, and I can see I'm at 3/4 of an inch, which means I'm at 1/4 of an inch because I go the opposite way. That's where I want to be, and I don't want to go any further than that. So now I've got to take, I've already got it sanded, so I'm going to take it off right here. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to leave a little bit. I'm going to leave a little bit out here on this side right here. so that I can make it round. Okay. Now there are a couple of ways that you can take this part off right here. One way is you can make a jam chuck. Well, a jam chuck might work, but you don't have very much right here to catch it. So I would recommend making yourself something similar to this right here. One side turns, this side goes into your headstock. Personally, I do not like these much because they're too big. They're just too big. If you make your own, you can make it towards a little bit smaller and you have more room to make it a true round. But we can make this one work. And we'll put this in here. Have that. Now we'll finish hollowing. I think I need to put a little maintenance on this. And give it a little bit of wax. This is what I'm talking about. See, you don't have a lot of room where you can really make your curvature. Okay. Make sure it doesn't hit your tool rest. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take, I can see my little knob here, so I'm going to work that little knob down. You're playing a lot with air here, so you got to be careful. Take a little bite. Take a look at it. Now I will use a jam chuck. I thought I'd demonstrate this. I don't like to use these much. I will use a jam chuck. Now my jam chuck is a little tight for my 1/2 inch hole. So, I'll take it down just a little bit. Check it. This is really part of the fun of doing it, is making these jam chucks. You gotta take your time and make them precise. You want them tight, but you don't want them so tight that they break your ball or your sphere. Not quite. There you go, that's perfect. Now I'm going to clean up this back side. Awesome. Now what you saw me do when I was making my jam chuck, I worked with the very tip. And the reason I worked with that tip is because if I get it too loose, I at least have a little bit more to play with where I can tighten it up down toward the end. If I had done it all at one time and it's too loose, then I got to start all over again. So now let's sand it. I use 80 grit when I have to, and that helps me form it. Take a look. A little bit more. Awesome. I'm happy with that. So let's take it all the way down to, again, 220. So I'll get my 100. $120. 150. 180. And I'm kind of sanding at about 15 to 1600 RPM. Lastly, 220. There we go. Now I'm finished with the ball to a point. A little later on, once I get the handle done, she wants to make it into like a flower. And so we'll kind of make it into like a little tulip. And we'll do that here in a little while. So let me hang on to this because I'll probably end up needing this. Now, we're going to turn the handle. So what I'm going to do is find my centers. This piece of wood is probably a 2x2, 6 inches long. And the reason I did that is because I want to have a little bit of room on each side. So when I get ready to dismount with this, I'll have some room. This is a walnut. Okay. Okay. Go ahead and mount this. You have different types of spurs that you can use. This is a four-sided spur. You also have what they call stab centers, which are more forgiving. So I'm going to turn this around. First thing I'm going to do is work on this end. I'm going to get my tenon to where it fits in here. I want to fit tight, so what I'll do is I'll measure it, which should be a half. But it's a little bit more. So what I'll do is I'll take it down to this point right here, and then I'll fit it. I'll take my parting tool on this part. Oh, perfect. Perfect. And now what I'm going to do is, because I want this to fit around the ball and its curvature, I'm going to put a little concave in here. There it fits around. Now I'll take it. I think I'm going to take this down to about 3/4, all the way down. I'm going to measure down 4.5 inches. do like this bead in the middle. And I do like this up here. So I'm gonna make something similar to this. Make it get a 3/8 inch beading tool. So we got 4.5, be 2 1/4. How about there? Okay. Now this beading tool is a D-weight beading tool, and I see a lot of people using it, and it's really an awesome beading tool. I've used several, but this beading tool is really easy to use, easy to sharpen. It keeps a nice edge. There's your bead. That's simple. And that's pretty much all there is to the handle. Now we'll sand it. I think I'll just start out with 100 this time. Nice one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it on this side right here, this on this side, and clean this off right here, this end. This is why I like the Easy Wood chuck. Yes, it's a little expensive, but it is so easy to use, and it's not so time consuming. Before I got this Easy Wood chuck, I bet you I have about 10 different chucks with 10 different jaws on them, because I got tired of unscrewing them. And honestly, by the time you buy all those chucks, you can probably have about 2 of these. Maybe even 3. So let's take a look how we can. Nobody's going to see this end anyway because it's going to be in here. Fits like a glove. I like it. So now what I'll do is I'll take this Let's see if it's not too thin. Hopefully it's not. Come on, baby. Play nice. Oh, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. And when you clean this up, take your time with it and take little bites. Make sure you have a sharp tool. If you don't, you'll break it off. You can start all over on it. So let's see what happens. Okay. Runs true. Got it. And now we have the finished product. What I use in mine, you can use different things. Some people use beans. I've tried that. Some people can use metal pellets, small ones, BBs, like in a shotgun. I use popcorn. The reason I don't use beans is because beans, when they get moist, they puff out, they expand. So, and you know, one thing to remember, the thinner you get this, the louder your rattle. The thicker it is, the more of a thud it is. Deeper. That's perfect for me. So now what I want to do is I want to prepare it for a flower. So now we're looking down from the top. I want you to see this because I want to start marking this off. And so we're going to try to make a flower out of this, probably like a little tulip. And she likes pink. So let me get this nice and sharp. I'm just going to eye this. So I'm going to eye my middle. Okay. And now I'm going to get some points. Here's one. Do they have to be perfect? No. There is no flower that is perfect. And now I'm going to come around here. And probably about right in here. Got my mark. Now, in between each of these marks, I'm going to put another mark. there, here, 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 and here. Now I'm going to connect them. Like so. Like so. Like so. Here and here. Now let's go the other way. Which would be from here, there, 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 and there. Now that we have that done, now it's time to burn it. We're going to burn those petals in there. One thing about wood turning, which is so much fun, it incorporates different things. You can incorporate carving. You can incorporate pyrography. And I think I'll take this out. Doesn't take long for it to get hot. I'm using a skew tip. Kind of be deliberate, go slow, so you don't have to go over it again like I've had to do. Now we have the petals done. Set this off aside. I'll mount this back on and we'll sand it out to get all these lines off. Yeah, we don't want that. I'll probably take about I'll take a 180 and 220. Doesn't take much. I want to make sure I don't make all, get rid of my burn marks. Now let's see what we have. I think we're there. Now let me go get the pink. When I get this done, I'm going to take it home and I'm going to put her name on it and her date of birth. So now it's just a matter of coloring this in. I won't let you all have to watch me do this. Let me get this done, I'll come back. Well, here we have it. We have our rattle in the form of a tulip. And this little girl's name is Layla May. And I hope she'll be happy with this and she'll keep it for the rest of her life. I want to thank you all for watching. Now we have a rattle. I want to put her name on it, her date of birth on it. I'm going to laser it on, and then we're going to give it to her probably this next week. I want to thank you all for joining me and watching this. I hope you liked it. And if you did, please like and subscribe below. And that will help me kind of keep my YouTube going. And so I plan on coming out with some more projects. I like doing vases and more pepper mills, different types of pepper mills. And so please stay with me and we'll see what we can come up with. Thank you so much and God bless.